Okay, welcome to the Tesla Talks podcast for the first week. Is it? Yeah, it's the first week of October 2020. Pandemic's still with us. It's getting worse. I don't know how many more podcasts we're going to have of this. I'm just kidding, folks. Welcome my special one and only guest tonight. He's a staple, like I've always said, from week to week before. Franklin, Mother Frunker, thanks for joining us, buddy.
Yep. Excited to talk about Tesla news.
You sounded really exciting there. Yeah, no, it's been a busy week. So you know what? We're gonna do a few things different tonight. We're gonna get right to the news. There's no one to introduce or anything like that. You know what? We could have had some guests on, and I had some people in mind, but I figured, you know what? Let's just keep it small and low key and interactive with just Franklin and I. That way we can get the news out of the way and get to a little bit of talking. And we're gonna. What's the goal I told you, Franklin, for tonight's podcast?
45 minutes.
45 minutes. Yeah. So we're gonna do our best.
Hey, and for those who are watching, if you guys have questions, comments, leave it in the comments, and we'll either answer the questions as we go, or I will get to them at some point. We won't skip any. It just however the flow of our conversation. So
exactly, we never skip.
Yeah, I keep track of every comment. So
he actually does. I don't know how he does. Do you like note it somewhere?
No. It's in my head. Jesus,
you're. I won't say what I think there. Yeah, you have very good memory. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Our like I said, we had a lot of news, and Elon in the last 48 hours been tweeting up a storm and giving us all information stuff out. He wasn't even last week, but it's been 2 weeks, so we're not going to go back to the old news from 2 weeks ago. But this may be old news to you guys, but we'll go get to it anyways. That's not how I want to get to it. Okay, so the first topic, or I guess first article, is from Electric. It's Tesla says they caught some sabotager. Is sabotager a word, Franklin? Before I go any further. Is that
yes.
the word? Yeah, sabotager. Okay. I didn't know if it was sabotager, sabotage. I didn't know. Anyways, so sabotager at the Fremont Factory. And the reason I bring this up, I mean, obviously it was news, I think, yesterday or today, but I'm thinking when I read this article, and then there was one that they caught before anything even happened, probably about a month or two ago. I don't know if you guys remember that. But I'm thinking, you know what? I hope that Tesla's putting a lot of concentration or a lot of work into this, because as they get bigger and bigger, as they're getting so big as it is, this is going to be a main problem for them, I think. Like, if they don't get a handle on it now and get some kind of program into place. What do you think? You think this going forward is going to take up a lot of their resources and stuff like that, and they're going to have to,
I think if you look at Elon Musk as a whole, he's kind of fighting against a lot of large industries with a lot of money.
Yeah.
All at once. Like, if you actually think about it and list it through, from oil companies to other car manufacturers to there's a long list, right? Individual part suppliers for the cars and so on and so forth. So if you actually think about it from the perspective of the number of people that have money to lose, you got to imagine that this is going to actually happen more often than it probably should. And I'm not trying to throw out a conspiracy theory or anything where the guy did it because of stocks or anything. I'm just saying it's a very well-known fact that people want Tesla to fail, right?
Yeah.
So you got to imagine things like this will slip through. And unfortunately, this kind of stuff doesn't just happen to Tesla. It happens to every company, right?
Every company that, if they have a disgruntled employee or ex-employee or something like that, or someone that just doesn't like the company. But you're bang on when you say Tesla has and probably will continue to even grow more enemies and people that just don't like them. I mean, they're known as a disruptor in many industries, right? And it's going to even be more industries as they grow bigger and bigger. So yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking with the size they are now and the size that they potentially can get to, it's going to be a factor that they're going to have to concentrate on, I think, because it's not going to go away. It's not like everyone's just going to give up. Like the first one a few weeks ago was from, hold on a second. Talk for a second, Frank. I got
I was going to mention that if you look at some of the other companies, like Waymo had the same problem. Google Waymo had the same problem with a gentleman who went to Uber, and he's
Hilarious.
seeking like jail time now. Apple's had it. Amazon's had it from engineers' perspective. And some of it's not like technically sabotage; it's like carrying company secrets, but it is sabotage in the grand scheme of things, right? So every company gets this kind of stuff. It's unfortunate; it happens, and you just gotta hope that it doesn't happen as often. When it does, right?
Yeah. For anyone listening at home, you're exactly right, Franklin. For anyone watching at home live or watching this after, my lights went out. This happened last week too, or last episode, and I figured out what it was. It wasn't. I apologize. I blame my son for it last time, but I remembered now. I have a timer on these lights that they go off at 10. So that's what it was. It went off at 10, and I was in the dark. But getting back to our story, yeah. So for anyone that isn't familiar with this article or this incident that happened this time, you go to Electric or any of these websites and you can check out everyone. I think most people did an article about it, but basically in a nutshell, it happened about 2 weeks ago. It happened in the IT or InfoSec teams. They found what they call SICK. I don't know if that stands for something because it's spelled differently. An employee had maliciously sabotaged a part of the factory. They found out real quick and they shut it down and caught him really quickly and didn't do anything to production. It was running smoothly after a few hours. What I found really weird, and maybe this is just my type of thinking, they just fired him. They just said, you know what, you're out. But I don't know the laws in the States or even in the state of California, but I would think there would be some criminal elements to what he did that they could probably charge him criminally. But like I said, I don't know. I'm just thinking outside the box, or I'm thinking out loud that maybe they could have charged him.
Yeah, possibly. I'm not sure about the legalities of stuff, right?
No.
Some of the comments, Mark said that Tesla has a lot of internal metrics in place, so hopefully they're set up better to catch these people. And then Kushik, and hopefully it didn't butcher his name too much. My apologies. Maybe they should host hackathons to help improve security. I don't know now off the top of my head. Maybe some of the comments can tell me if they have like a bug bounty program.
They do. They do for their software, their cars.
That's right. They do actually, because they had the $1 million one, and people are going crazy over. And those things actually do help a lot. I was actually just reading one about Apple about 2 hours ago, where someone had access to pretty much every piece of data with like 55 different vulnerabilities, and Apple paid them out like $250,000. And It's kind of fascinating because that person probably could have took it to people with malicious intent and could have probably cashed in way more than what Apple offered. But bug bounties do work, and they are good for companies that offer them. So,
yeah, they do, and that's why I'm wondering in this case for internal stuff that isn't software related and stuff like that, but even software internally, if they should have some kind of internal employee bounty, like a snitch line or something where they give a reward. I don't know if that would work. I don't know if that's something they want to get into, but like in this case, it was internally, right? And actually, last case was internally too. So
you say snitch line, it ranges from $100 to free Tesla, depending on the level of severity.
Yeah, they gotta put some kind of incentive there, right?
So, no, for sure, right? It's but Tesla does take security properly, and they're improving security on the back end because they started with MultiFactor Authentication this past week.
Yes, they did. And this article is brought to us by Drive Tesla Canada. And I can sit here and say this is what multi-factor authentication is, and so, but I'd be lying. I mean, I know the basics of it and know what it's about, but I'd be lying and I'd be doing it a disservice if I sat here when I've got Franklin right below me that can do a much better job of explaining this. So without it further ado, Franklin, take it away.
The easiest way so I've actually pestered Elon about this. So I got 2 replies but
You
Buchan
did.
just added, yeah.
You did. You and Tessa Raj.
Raj, yeah, Raj as well.
Yeah.
And Raj and I actually had like some private conversations. We're so glad we're hammering him, and he's actually responding and getting it done, right? So we're both pretty happy with the outcome. And for the record, before we go into what it is, MFA, MultiFactor Authentication, right?
Maybe
Not MultiFactor Authentication. Tesla had a typo.
Maybe they're fully crediting you. I mean, they should give Raj a little shout out too, because he was equally as instrumental.
Yeah,
but anyways, all jokes aside.
Yeah. So all jokes aside,
anyone. You explain it, but before I get you to explain it, I'll let everyone know that if you want to see how it's done and a step-by-step walkthrough, Franklin did an awesome job a couple days ago. Put out a nice, quick video, right to the point, showed how to go about doing it if you're not familiar or if you're not comfortable doing it on your own. Franklin's got an awesome video. Not a plug, but just on topic.
No. The basic premise behind it is you log into your account right now, use a username and password. So that's think of that as only one way that you're actually able to log in and get access to your account. So if multi-factor authentication is adding multiple authentication methods to be able to get into your account. So if I already give you my email and password for my Tesla account, Dax, and you go and type it in the app or on the website to log in, I can freely give it to you right now. And it won't do nothing because you need a second piece of information to be able to log in.
Can you give me that too? It's just you and I.
Yeah, no one's watching, right? So
no one's calling though.
I'll show you actually what it looks like.
Someone else probably wants it too. So
on my phone, there's an authenticator app, and as I do that, it's my green screen's messing it all up. But I'm given a 6-digit code, and it refreshes every 60 seconds. So I go to log into my Tesla account. I type in my username and password, and it's going to ask me for that 6-digit code that comes off my phone. So if someone, and phishing is still one of the most popular, or probably the most popular forms of password stealing, which is basically typing in your password into a fake website, or if you reuse the same password over and over, which I highly suggest you do not do, change your password immediately. But if you're using the same password over and over and someone has access to your password, now they actually need your phone as well as your password to log into your account. So just adds an extra layer of security. And a couple of things for it. It does not affect your car. So if you have pin to drive, keep pin to drive enabled. Think of this as only for your Tesla account on the web and logging into the app. It has nothing to do with driving your car. So your car security is separate from your account security, but really you don't want someone going into your account to take control of your account and either start buying cars or transfer ownership or just viewing your data and all that sort of stuff, right? So it's fairly simple setup. You go to mfa.tesla.com, download an authenticator app on your phone. Just go to the Play Store or App Store and look up authenticator app, download it, go through the registration process. On Tesla, you sign in. There's going to be a QR code. You scan the QR code, all set up, ready to go. You are given backup codes. Please, please, please print out your backup codes. Save them somewhere securely. If your phone dies or you switch phones, and Chris from Dirty Tesla, he actually mentioned this on Twitter, he changed phones and he didn't save his backup codes. So you can't authenticate your account without the backup codes or without a code. And if your phone is your authentication method, it gets tricky, right? So they do give you backup codes, print them out, and store them somewhere safely, and you're good to go. But it's highly suggested you enable this. So if you're watching this, honestly, just go do it right now.
Yeah.
Or you're listening to this. Yeah.
Yeah, and you haven't done it yet. You know what? I watched Tesla Inventory. Eric and Derek they did a fabulous video on how step by step how to go about it. And you're talking about the codes. Up until even when I did it, which was the day it came out, and I guess when they did the video, so I don't know about now. Tesla, remember it said Tesla said write down or save these codes because you'll never get them again. Mm-hmm. Well, you you could go out and go back in, go back out, and they were all, the codes were staying there. They weren't like disappearing. So I don't know if that was, I mean, Eric was saying that, it's probably an issue and they shouldn't be, and Tesla should fix it. But yeah, you're right. Save those codes, because I've saved them.
The whole showing the code thing, I think they disappear once you use the 10, and I'd have to try it to really play around with it. But I know
is that why they say? Okay.
Yeah, but because I know my Google account, they still show my backup codes, and the reason for that is you still need the backup code to get into that portion, right?
Okay, but
or you need to authenticate to get into that portion. So it's not like someone's gonna just go and log into your account and get those. They need to have one of those codes to get that far anyway, right? So
it's Apple before the. Okay, I get you. Okay.
Yeah, and there's a KKVR2823.
You did a much better job this time, yeah.
Yeah. You can use it on any device. So it can be an iPad, a tablet. There's a lot of devices. Authy allows you to back up the app itself in the cloud. So if you change your device and you can't reinstall the Authenticator app, you can restore your Tesla account that way. So yeah, there are options. I just know that it's something that you should do. So
yeah, I didn't know that happened to Chris. So yeah, so this is an article, this is news that came out with Tesla this week and stuff like that. But mainly, if anything else, this is a public service announcement for anyone that has a Tesla. And obviously you wouldn't be watching or listening to this if you didn't have a Tesla or you weren't interested in Tesla. So even if you don't have one yet, when you do get one, and people have been saying, this has been a long time that they've been waiting for this, and it's overdue. Even Elon had said in one of the tweets that he's embarrassed that it took so long to do it. But
honestly, I'm kind of shocked, because Tesla's such a forward-thinking, innovative company, and something like this taking that long is kind of shocking, right? So
yeah,
I'm glad it's here though. Like, better late than never. That's, gotta look at the positives. True,
exactly. Yeah, moving right along. This is awesome time. We're 17 minutes in, buddy, and we're on a third topic already. Gigafactory Berlin. Now, when Battery Day came out, let me back up a little bit. Yeah, when Battery Day came and went, and they talked about the new 4680 cells and stuff like that, we basically knew that obviously it was going to go in the Plaid Model S. We knew it was going to go into Cybertruck. We knew it was going to go into road, or we assumed it would go into Roadster. So anything that wasn't out yet, we assumed it was going to go into, including the semis too. But he didn't really specify, and I think he did it on purpose, but he didn't really specify or speak directly to existing cars that we have right now, if they will get a retrofit or going forward they're going to get a design change. But in one of the slides, as you can see in the article here by Drive Tesla Canada again, one of the slides that happened behind Drew and Elon as they were talking, they showed the single body castings of the front and back, and how we're talking about how the battery pack is now the new structure and stuff like that. And anyone that was familiar with those shapes and those molds knew that it was a Model Y. So, and also with Elon mentioning, I think a month or two ago, that the Model Y coming out of Berlin will be different than the Model Y in North America. It'll be a completely different car. So don't quote me, but he said something along those lines. So I'm thinking, what battery cells are going to be in there? Well, he confirmed in one of his tweets going down here. Once again, whole Mars catalog asked him, and he confirmed that Berlin will be using the 4680s for the Model Y. So that's huge. So the Model Y, he wasn't exaggerating. He actually was telling the truth, and he was bang on when he said the Model Y, the European Model Y, is going to be a completely different car. It may look the same on the outside, maybe even on the inside, but the car is going to be completely different than the North American version.
And it's interesting that he says he wants to give it like 2 years before he starts transitioning, right?
Yeah, you know what? I think, once again, just like the stuff that he talked about, they're sandbagging a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And can you blame them for the Osborne effect? Like, you don't want to kill your sales, right?
Well, you also have people that are buying cars. I think our buddy Trevor mentioned this on Twitter. there's people that are expecting retrofits now for the heated charging port.
Yep.
And he mentioned it, and he's like, why do people expect that you're going to get a retrofit for that, right? So
You know what?
like, should people get a retrofit for their battery cell? Like,
no, they shouldn't. But, and I understand what Trevor's saying, and I completely agree with him. And that's just, you know what? That's what word am I looking for here? That's the spoiledness, if that is such a word, of some Tesla people. And you know what? You almost can't blame them, because Tesla is a completely different car company, as we've talked about before in the past. They're completely different. They're not the typical car company that, you know what, this is what you get. This is the 2020 version. If you want something different, you got to get the 2021. Like, Tesla changes things, whether it's software or even hardware, throughout the year. So, and really, and sometimes they offer, like, look at the Hardware 3 retrofit. I mean, yeah, you have to pay for it, but you could have gotten it if you pay for it, right? So Tesla's gotten some people in this train of thought, this mindset that I should have that. If that's new and that came out and I don't have it and I've got the same car, I should have it. And then they whine and complain.
And I think that's part of the reason is because Tesla doesn't use version numbers or year numbers. Version numbers. They don't use years for their models. So people just expect, like, hey, I have that car. Why don't I have everything, right?
Exactly.
But there are differences. And hey, while we're on the topic, there was a question at the top I said we'd get to from Dan, the Model 3 refresh that's coming. Any thoughts on the new electric article?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Dax. You have to scroll all the way up. But we're on the topic now. I think I think using the word refresh is wrong, because even Elon himself said, like, they don't do refreshes, right? They do incremental changes. And if you think, like, would you consider a upgraded charging port a refresh? Probably not. It's just like a small change, a quality of life improvement. On the article that they shared, they're getting rid of my biggest complaint on the Model 3, which is the piano black gloss center console. I think that's like the dumbest design decision that they've included.
Yeah, I
right?
agree.
But they do incremental changes, right? And I guess you could, I don't know, if you want to call it a refresh, call it a refresh. That's just semantics. But I think ultimately it's Tesla makes changes, and when you buy your car, you're buying the best possible car at that given time, and you should be happy that you're getting software updates, because no other manufacturer does that. And other than that, I mean, the hardware changes over time. You got to be happy with what you have, I guess.
No,
like, you got your car the same day I got mine. Like, we're talking hours apart. What's that? Yeah, you did. You did. Yeah, you did. Yeah. And
I thought maybe you knew Dan.
No. You got your car like hours apart from me, right? Yes. I got mine in the morning. You got yours in the afternoon. I didn't even know you at the time.
Sorry, I got mine in the night. It was scheduled for the afternoon, but it ended up being the night.
And it's crazy, because we're in the same building for a long period of time together.
Yeah.
I didn't know you.
I didn't know you from a hole in the wall, dude.
Yeah. So, but going back to what good friends. But going back to what I was saying, like, our cars have the same exact software, basically the same feature set, with the exception of a couple of features here and there. But it's very close to the cars that they're bringing off the lot today.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I didn't go to the Tesla dealership for them to pay $400 for them to upload a piece of firmware to do that. So
for maps, like these automakers are doing, yeah, $400. I'll update your maps. Really? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I think they stopped. They must have stopped doing that, because who in their right mind, with Waze and Google Maps and Apple Maps, like at the touch of the tip of your finger, well, you know what I'm trying to say. Like, why would anyone pay for that, unless, like, they're like seniors and they depend on, seniors wouldn't depend on GPS. They wouldn't use the navigation.
Yeah.
And
sorry,
seniors.
There's some comments about the piano black. It's rumored in the electric article that's part of the refresh and part of the changes that they're doing. Yeah. And again, I don't see it as like a full refresh. I see it as incremental improvements constantly over time to give the the customer at any given time the best possible car, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's semantics when you're talking about the actual term refresh. But yeah, I read that article too, and I'm pretty excited about it. I'm a little disappointed. I mean, I get it, but I'm a little disappointed that they couldn't post pictures. Didn't they say in the article, we have pictures, but we can't post them?
Yeah,
Or
like that.
we've seen pictures and we can't share them or something like that.
They
But
shared a few, but nothing
no,
nothing
that
crazy.
was the one of the center console. I think that was if you read it, if I read it correctly, it was a render or a mock-up or something. They painted it or
Yeah.
something.
And our buddy Rob said BMW charges updates twice per year. So
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Rob,
subscription service for car updates.
how's your man cold, Rob? Rob was down with a little cold, else he was going to join us tonight.
Hopefully next week.
Yeah, hopefully next time. No, actually, you know what? No, that was your one opportunity.
Never coming back.
Never get invited back.
But yeah, no, I think going back to the battery, I think it's cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. And Elon's a smart guy. Let's just leave it at that.
Exactly. And you know what that's good at? Some people have talked about this, but getting back to the European Y, when they put those cells in there and they have those two castings, and apparently it saves something like 200 or 370 extra parts just by making those two solid castings. That's incredible if that's true, and I don't have any reason to think that it isn't or believe that it isn't true. So let's just assume it's true. Like, they're going to be able to sell that car, and once again, this is where people here in the US are probably going to start whining and complaining, but they're going to be able to sell it for so cheap that they're going to really turn that European market, at least the European EV market, for a good spin.
Well, the reason why that their sales in Europe are so high is because their gas prices are ridiculous.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I know we complain about ours here in Canada.
Yeah, and I talk to people about gas savings, and I usually use our buddy Mark, the backseat baller, as yeah. I use him as an example for gas savings because of the sheer number of kilometers he puts on his car. Because he's over 150,000 now, right?
He's close there, yeah.
150, 160, something like that.
Yeah.
I think in the next year or two, he'll probably be the highest Model 3. But you look at his gas savings. His gas savings are ridiculous, right? And that's at our rates. Could you imagine if you lived in Europe? So.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And not to say we have it good, or not to say we don't have a right to complain about gas prices. Mind you, I don't know about you, Franklin. I haven't complained about gas prices in a long time.
I don't even know what they are.
Yeah. I say that half jokingly, but yeah, for you, it's probably very accurate because you really don't know what they're at. For me, I'm half joking because I still do have a gas car. Hopefully in the next year and a half, I won't. But right now I still do, so I still have to look at it.
Hey, speaking of gas cars, did you hear about, and this was a comment that was brought up, where was it? I just saw it too. Stevens, yeah. Self Ontario comments today on Ford's announcement.
Yeah. Now, this is where I need you, Franklin, because I didn't hear about Ford's announcement, but are we talking about the F-150 extended range thing?
So the federal and provincial governments are, I don't know if it's 250 million each or 250 million total. But
let me guess, they're subsidizing Ford
to make electric vehicles.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
So I mean, hey, it's not. So they're, from what I've I looked at the announcement. I didn't listen to it, but I was reading an article about it. It's kind of interesting that they want to push. Their whole spiel was like, "Oh, we want Canada to be making electric vehicles and be a leader." Blah 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 blah. Right. So I mean, it's not a terrible thing, truthfully. It just, I don't know what's going to come of it.
No, listen, it's not a bad thing. And when they spin it that way, yeah. But I am just so sick and tired, and every taxpayer should too, be sick and tired of governments and I know in this case you can argue it's not a bailout, but we know what happened back a few years ago when they actually did bail out the automakers and stuff like that, and they never saw that money again. They never paid it back. At least here in Ontario, I can't speak to other provinces or other states down in the U.S. and stuff like that, but they bailed them out. And you know what? I can go. I'm going to reserve my comments because I can go off into a huge anti-union rant that this is what this podcast is not about.
Yeah, and just for clarification, they're saying it's $1 billion. It's $500 million each.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, it's not a terrible thing, like I said, and I mean, if it actually helps them make electric vehicles, I'm all for it. Right?
Yes. If they make electric vehicles, that's fine. But then, what I thought, Stephen, and I appreciate you, Franklin, bringing me up to speed because I wasn't familiar with the announcement today. I don't follow the news too much sometimes from day to day, but I thought that he was maybe talking about, did you see that other article that came out a few days ago where Ford wants to make their F-150, their electric F-150, and then offer an extended add-on that you can either purchase or you can rent from the dealership and then like rent it for a day or two or a few days and then bring it back, that plugs into the back of the bed of the truck. And it's basically a gas or diesel generator to extend the range. Like,
no, I didn't hear about that.
Like, what are we doing here, people? Like, Ford's basically saying, you know what? I know we're making it look like we care about the environment and look like we're trying to go electric, but really, here's our cards. This is what we're actually only considering. This is all we're thinking about. It's like, I mean, I see some points for the reasoning behind that, but at the end of the day, in my opinion, you get an electric vehicle for an environmental point of view and for cost savings.
Mm-hmm. And
putting a extended range thing in there, that doesn't. I mean, you might as well just drive it.
And you enjoy driving even more. Like Martin said, he drove almost 30,000 kilometers in a year, and he used to drive 17,000. Mark used to drive 7,000 miles per year, and I was up to 22,000. I was probably around 10,000 kilometers a year, and now I'm up to about 30. So just from very small sample size here, you get an electric vehicle, you drive a lot more, right?
You do. I've explained that to many people in the past. Yeah, you do, and you may not think you do, and this goes back. I explain this to people when I talk to them when they ask me about leasing. I'm like, do not lease an electric car unless you want to buy out the lease at the end. But if you just lease it with intentions to stay in those limited kilometers and then hand it back without the penalty, you're gonna screw yourself.
Yeah, we have Rob, of course, 24,000 a year before 80,000 per year now, right? Like, that's just an insane number. And I think
Rob,
the drive gets better over time, right? Like we're talking about before. So my drive today was drastically better than my drive yesterday. So the 2020 43 update that we got.
Yeah.
I know it's our next topic.
And why was it? Why was it better?
So there's a street that I drive on fairly frequently that the speed signs have changed over the last year. And Tesla's obviously is using old map data, which is outdated. So I'd always have to manually adjust my speed throughout. So it jumped from like 80 down to 70, up to 80, down to 70. And honestly, like police have had, like, it's been a dream for police on that road over the last year because of all the speed changes of people not knowing. So if you're doing 10 over and you're doing 90 and a 70 afterwards, it's not good. So today, for the first time driving on that road, I did not have to readjust my speed once. So, like, world of difference because Tesla can now read speed signs, obviously, right? So, makes a huge difference in driving experience. So,
it is. It doesn't. It should. I'm talking like I know, but I just got the update today. If you don't know what we're talking about, the latest update in version 10.2, which is build number 2020.40, and it first started out like .01 and .03, but now it's actually 40.3. And it's rolled out. It started trickling out a little bit the day before, and then yesterday and today they seem to be putting it out in mass. Franklin got his yesterday. I got mine just before we started, about an hour before we started. And yeah, it's good. It brings some improvements. One of the ones that Franklin was touched on there is finally here in Canada, at least, we've got speed sign recognition using the camera. Which,
I don't know if it was fluke of luck, because it was asked in the comments. It does work in school zones. It was one of those flashing school zone areas, and it dropped right down to 40. It detected the flashing light as if it was a street light, but nonetheless, it went from 50 down to 40 like instantly. And I was like super impressed.
So you got to be careful with school zones though, because I'll tell you, like I'm sure I'm like most people where you know how you can do that difference between 5 and 10 kilometers or 15 kilometers or whatever.
Zero tolerance in the school zone.
Yeah, in a school zone, you don't want to be going a kilometer or a mile over 40. When we say 40, we're talking kilometers, folks. In the States, I don't know what the school zone restrictions are in miles. I'm guessing 25, but if it translates the same.
I'm exactly like you, Dex. I have my tolerance of going over, but in school zones, like I personally maintain like a 0 over. I'm usually under, not over, right? Because I understand the safety of the situation, and it's just not worth it, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. Now, to your point where you were talking earlier at the beginning, and you said that it is a good thing because, it's actually fixing a lot of signs. There is one around my commute to work where it's actually 70, but when I'm going, the car thinks for a good kilometer or two stretch, the car thinks it's 40, and it drives me nuts because I'm on autopilot and I just got to keep my foot on the accelerator, which
hopefully it fixes.
I know it sounds so archaic. I got to keep my typical spoiled Tesla saying it. I got to keep my foot on the accelerator. Oh my God, that's so savage.
I think, but hopefully it fixes your problem, Dex.
It should fix it. You had a question?
No, I was just going to point out that there are still some things, and I'm planning to make a video of this. There's some things where it does pick up. It'll pick up fake stop signs or fake streetlights, and it will come to a stop when it shouldn't. And I still notice it with the newest update, so just keep that in mind. It's good. It fixes a lot of the speed limit stuff, but there's some areas where it has outdated map data, and it's still picking that up, even though the cameras aren't. So.
Yeah, well, and I was going to say, you know what? You're absolutely right, because I noticed we're driving last week somewhere, and I was coming up to, and tell me in the comments below if you guys experience this too, coming up to a railroad track, and the railroad tracks have the red lights. They weren't flashing, obviously, else I wouldn't have gone through it, and I wouldn't be here to tell the story if I did. But it detected the railroad the lights for the crossing lights, because I saw it depicted in the on the screen, and it started slowing down. Because it thought it was a red light or a flashing red light or something, but it actually thought it was, and it was slowing down. If not, I didn't let it stop, but I was assuming if I'd let it, it would have probably stopped. And there was something else that I saw that, it detected falsely. And that was, once again, that was before 40.3, which we're getting, if you don't already have it in the last 24 hours. So there's that. And my last point on the speed stuff is that you got to be careful, because I was telling my wife when it was downloading and installing today, I said, oh, so this is what the car is going to do now. She drives it like 5% of the time, but I let her know, and she's like, oh, that's amazing. And I'm like, well, it's good, but some cars have had it for a while, right? Like it's not only Tesla thing. But I said to her, there's parts in Burlington, which is an area around where we live here, that I can actually go, it says 60, but for some reason it thinks it's 80, and I can go faster. Now, maybe I shouldn't, because I'm going to get a ticket eventually, but I'm going to miss that because I can go faster in those zones and it didn't detect it. But now with this new recognition, it's going to know that it's 60. So I'm going to hate that part of it.
It had this update has some other good stuff. Real quick, there's a Bluetooth. So if you have multiple people using your car or multiple phones, you can toggle on, in the top right, just tap Bluetooth. You can toggle on a primary Bluetooth device. So it's going to check for that one first. It has a glove box pin, which, as in if you have something in your glove box and you don't want someone to enter, you can put a pin on your glove box. So you need the pin to be able to open it. It asks for the pin whether you're trying to manually hit glove box or do it through voice. And I actually noticed something really interesting in this update. They always add additional release notes or whatever, like extra release notes. This was not part of the actual notes themselves. Our buddy Aaron actually asked for this a few months ago, or I want to say like half a year ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, if you use pin to drive, do you use it, Dax?
I turn it on. I've used it at times, and then I ended up turning it off.
Okay. So if anyone uses pin to drive in the comments, let me know. But basically, pin to drive used to have a button that said allow or enter or whatever. So you'd enter in your 4 digits, and then you'd have to hit like accept for your 4 digits to go through, whether it's right or wrong. Then you go into your car.
Like an OK button?
Yeah, like an OK button that you've entered in your 4 digits.
Okay.
So Aaron suggested that once you enter in your 4 digits, the car should be smart enough to know, hey, entered the 4 digits, either allow me in or say wrong, incorrect passcode, right? So in this update, that was actually changed. So if you use pin to drive now, you don't have to hit OK, you just enter in your 4 digits and it'll bring you in. So there's no more confirmation. And it works the same way on glove box.
Yeah, it's just one less button press that could distract you. So that's or it's just a convenience thing, maybe.
Yeah, basically, it's just convenience, right? And again, it's one of those things they didn't mention in the release notes, but I thought I'd just bring it up.
Okay, let me ask you something about glove box pin.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, and please correct me that I'm wrong, because I want to be wrong, so it'll make more sense to me. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving right along then. No, when you're in valet, doesn't that lock out the glove box opening when you're in valet mode?
But what if you want to keep something in there that you don't want your wife to see?
Oh, okay, so it's a divorce feature. Okay, I get you. Okay, moving right along. It's called the cheater mode.
Imagine it as a second, like you just hey, go out to my car and grab something, and you keep something in your glove box. I don't know. It's just...
Okay, so it's because I'm thinking, what's the use for it other than valet or having someone drive the car that you don't want to go in the glove box? I guess maybe your kids, but once again, what happens if you lend it to your kids and your kids get pulled over because you didn't put the speed restriction on it?
Now they have to call you for the glove box access.
Yeah, because they got a cop breathing down their neck and they're waiting for their insurance and ownership, which is in the glove box.
So valet locks the glove box. It locks the frunk. It limits speed.
Yeah.
What else does it do? There's a couple other things. I'm just drawing a blank, but I've used it. I use valet mode.
Yeah, it hides your home address.
Hides all your home address.
Recents and home. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good. I used to use it a lot before 2020, I guess we can say, but yeah, not a lot of valeting nowadays.
Okay, so I was right that valet does that. So glove box is just an added scenario that you can use it in.
I like Rob. Glove box pin is for robotaxi. See, those are the comments we want to read.
Okay, there you go. But
honestly, from like a coding perspective, it's not super hard because they already had the pin to drive, and it's literally the same interface. And all they did was basically take that function and apply it to the glove box function. And the glove box was already opened up through the use of the screen. So it wasn't like there's a physical component that's, oh my God, how are we going to do this? It's already all digital. So for them to apply it.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're a software guy. You would know it would be simple. I'm not a software guy, but I bet you it's probably a copy and paste.
Yeah, well, when I say simple, I mean assuming it was coded in a way that's functional that you can just like reuse, right? And
yeah.
Based on how the Tesla interface functions and runs, you can notice that a lot of components are reused, which makes sense because you don't redo the wheel over and over. So in the sense of Tesla, they seem to know what they're doing, and it's probably pretty easy. What will they lock next? Mark wants to know.
Will they lock things? Well, yeah. Well, you know what? That's the beauty with software and a car that's controlled fully by software. They can lock anything. They could probably lock the wheels. It's called park, but But,
No Netflix
okay.
for you, kids.
Yeah, they could. Who knows what they could do?
Yeah.
Anyone else noticing their Netflix and YouTube interface very slow in the last few months? Like
It's slow to load,
yeah.
but once it's loaded, it's pretty speedy.
Well, yeah, it's slow to load, but I find too that it's slow even navigating around. Like once you pick something and it starts streaming, yeah, it's fine. It's not jittery depending on your connection stuff. But even navigating around, like scrolling up in some YouTube pages and stuff like that, and Netflix, I find that it's getting like, I mean, I'm thinking it's already getting jerky. Like I can imagine 2 years down the line, another 2 years from now. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
I think they have to optimize it, but anyway.
yeah. But speaking of robotaxi, uh, when I say robotaxi and I say Google, what do you think of, Franklin?
Waymo?
Waymo, exactly. And you said you off just before, like off camera before we started filming here, you were mentioning something about Waymo.
Yeah, so
Something recently.
Waymo made an announcement, I want to say yesterday. All the days are blur lately. I want to say yesterday they made an announcement that they're actually testing out full self-driving vehicles now.
Yeah.
And they made this announcement like 2 years ago. When they made it, it was full self-driving, but there's still people in the driver's seat as a just in case, got to take over type thing.
Yeah.
This time around, it's like there's no one in the driver's seat. There's still some limitations to it. It's not like full public release yet, like they make it seem. So it's a little bit clickbait on Waymo's perspective or part. But it is full self-driving, people that are just, or cars that are just driving around, and it's a 5 kilometer radius or something like that. I don't remember the exact numbers. But Waymo is actually testing it in a very small radius. So because of that, Elon sent out a tweet. He said, Waymo is impressive, but highly specialized solution. The Tesla approach is a general solution. The latest beta build is capable of zero intervention drives. We'll release limited beta in a few weeks. And he also says it's going to fix the phantom braking should be fixed on the current wide release build. So if you guys have phantom braking, I'd love to know, because I still get it every so often, even with bridges, despite everyone saying, hey, it's gone, I still experience it. So I don't know. I'm kind of, I can't wait to see what Tesla's implementation is. I want to see the rewrite. I want to see, like, obviously, like, we know what Tesla's implementation is, but I mean, like, I want to see it actually, like, Tesla's solution actually up and running, because we can actually see Waymos right now, and we've seen Waymo.
We've seen way more of Waymo.
Yeah, and
it's a stupid joke. No, I know what you're saying, Franklin. Franklin was very concise in that explanation in that article. It's actually not an article. This is just some tweets that I wanted to bring up to everyone's attention. That Franklin, I almost called you Franklin. I meant Elon. Elon mentioned today in his
Elon Franklin, same thing, right? Continue.
Yeah, almost. Yeah. This Twitter user Tasha Keeney, she went on to talk and explain it in 5 or 6 separate tweets about this whole thing about Waymo and the announcement and everything. And that was Elon's response to it, which he said, yeah, it's good, but he's just obviously touting full self-driving is going to be better, right? What got me is how he says is capable of zero intervention drives. Didn't he just say a few weeks ago that he has the build that he has in his car, he can almost do it with zero intervention? Now he's saying zero intervention.
And I think,
is that like the progress that they've made?
I think, honestly, to me, that just means that they have, if you think from the perspective of what Tesla can do right now, right? Highway, on-ramp to off-ramp, technically 100%. There's still cases where, that comment from Mark Franklin, there are situations where it doesn't work on the highway, right? Let's be honest. But technically, from the perspective of Tesla, on-ramp to off-ramp, 100%, highway, just collecting data, making it better. City streets, it can go straight, street lights, start, stop, at stop signs, green light, red light, yellow light, right? So
right
what's
now.
left?
Yeah,
right now,
no,
yeah.
You're right. And Elon does bring up a good point. Like, I mean, what was it? Super Cruise? They said that they touted last year, the year before, that their car could go fully autonomous without interventions, but it was only on certain highways and certain paths. Elon's
Yeah.
saying ours is going to be like everywhere. It's not going to be just restricted to some certain areas.
So I think what Elon's basically saying is they have left turns, right turns, roundabouts done, or not done, but like functional enough where it's usable.
Yeah, that's what's left, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying that's like everything, but those are the big ones. Because once they have those, it's just a matter of collecting data, optimizing, collecting more data, optimizing, collecting more data, optimizing, and adding in small little extras here and there, right? Those are their big things that they have left. So they're getting close.
They're getting close. And I'm excited too. I wish I could be one of those limited beta people. That'd be awesome.
There's none in Canada.
Ah, that sucks. So once again, and we expected this, right? When it
Time
does,
to move?
No, I'm not moving. My wife would kill me. But what I'm saying is something we already know. The Canadians will be delayed for getting this new rewrite, which I fully expect. I mean, it's not as bad and it's not as disappointing if you already expect it ahead of time, right?
Yeah.
Right?
They're asking about Super Cruise, by the way. I just want to touch on that real quick. Super Cruise is actually pretty amazing. It actually uses the internal camera to make sure you're paying attention. So they have, and like the places where it does work, it's fantastic. It's really good. But it's highway only, and it's only specific highways.
Yes, it's that's what I was alluding to a couple minutes ago. Yeah, it works great, but it's limited because they pick and choose, and they basically write the software for those streets only. You want to go somewhere else, it's like, okay, hop in the driver's seat because I'm not taking you because I don't know.
Sorry, and that was Rob's question. I just want to address it before I forgot.
Rob? Oh, Rob had a question? Oh.
No, that was it. He is asking about Super Cruise.
Oh, okay. Rob didn't know? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think I think I'm still worried about the whole winter climate thing, and I feel like they still have to do stuff with that. It started hailing today.
Did it?
When I was driving, and I had to actually figure out what lanes I had to be in myself. Navigation on autopilot shut off, and I was like, now I have to decide my lanes. What is this, right?
And once again, that whole Tesla spoiledness.
Right, yeah, exactly. First world problem. But like I'm a huge believer of FSD, right? And there's some really fascinating things that are happening, like Waymo announcing it, Tesla's getting closer. There's China's actually deploying FSD cars now as we speak on roads and stuff, and they're doing their own tests. So the whole FSD thing's actually like
heating up.
A lot more interesting. Yeah, it's a lot more interesting right now than it was like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Could you imagine 3 years ago?
This is what competition breeds, right? It's healthy.
Exactly.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Who wins out in the long run? Us, the consumers.
Yeah. And I said it off air. I'm a big fan of technology, and
no, really, you?
Yeah.
I thought you were a Luddite.
If Tesla's first to market, great. Like I'm all for it. I love my Tesla. If it's someone else, great. It's better for the population as a whole, right? So.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's getting exciting, and we'll see who comes up first. Somebody was asking, I think it was Robert, how's a Super Cruise work in the snow? And the same question could be asked for Waymo, right? Like, okay, we know that's right now, that's the limitations with autopilot as we see it today, right? Is that can Super Cruise or Waymo have a better solution? Is LiDAR the answer to that? Is that a workaround for snow?
Don't take my word for it, but I still in the camp of needing both cameras and LiDAR.
Yeah.
I want vision and LiDAR. And I think we talked about it a few weeks ago. Lucid has both. So
yeah. But will LiDAR help with when there's snow-covered roads and you can't see the lines on the road?
Yeah, it will.
It will? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just the way it works because it's like pre-map data in combination. I think pre-map data in combination with cameras would be the best solution.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of people are like, I'm going to get ridiculed for this. A lot of people don't like anything but like camera vision because, it's supposed to be the it. But I think, and they're like, oh, it's going to take so long to map out, let's say, North America. But you got to imagine, like, look how fast Google updates Google Maps Street View. That's pretty damn quick, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
If you have someone like Tesla can probably, like, I foresee Tesla making their own mapping service, and we talked about this in the past. They can probably map out like the whole world pretty damn quick with a million plus cars driving around all the time with cameras everywhere, and their maps would be super up to date constantly.
Think about it. Yeah. Yeah.
People love Waze. Tesla can have a Waze built in where we don't have to report stuff. Accidents will automatically, a Tesla just drove by an accident, poof, it's popped up on the map, right? So no reporting, it's the car that does it all, right? So Tesla's in an interesting position, just the way their cars are and the way they receive data and stuff like that. So, but I also think because Waymo has such a large background funding from Alphabet, they can probably,
Yes.
they can map out stuff pretty quick, right? And that's assuming the antitrust file lawsuit thing doesn't go through and they're not all splitting up, broken up where they don't have access to that money and data anymore. But nonetheless, yeah, it's.
Hey, let's keep this a Tesla.
But yeah, no, it's just fascinating, right? And again, better for consumers, right? Whoever gets there, competition's good for everyone.
Exactly. And the last thing I'm going to bring up, Elon had a lot of interesting tweets, but this one he did today. Some user called Zane Rays 4 on Twitter said, "Will we ever see the automatic snake charger?" And Elon replied, "Yes." I thought, please correct me. I thought that was, this is what we can do. We're not going to do it, but this is what we can do. Now Elon's saying it's actually coming.
Yeah.
Isn't that mind-blowing?
He said plenty of times, he said that if they can get the car to drive itself, for it to plug in by itself is relatively easy. Because you got to think, it's just like.
Yeah, I remember him saying that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So, I mean, if someone actually recreated it, I remember watching a YouTube video like 3-4 years ago, and someone recreated the snake charger.
Did it work? Or did it puncture a hole in the side of the car?
I don't know how many panels they went through, but it did work at the end.
Oh, can you imagine? No, I just, when I saw that, and how old is that video now? Like 4 years old, maybe 5 years old. Like it's been out. It's got some age to it. Anyways, when I first saw that, I was like, "Oh, that's cool." It looked so surreal. It looked alienish, which it basically is. But I don't know. I'm excited to know that it is coming out, and it is something that they will have to with the robotaxi fleet. It's something that they would have to address, because if there's no human intervention, how are we going to charge these cars?
They're gonna. I don't know. What I want to know is, will they sell a home version?
Oh, can you imagine?
I'm not lazy, by the way.
Oh yeah, you will be the first to have it. Trevor will be the first to have it, just so he can make a video, and Derek from Tesla Inventory, because they buy everything, and they'll be the first to have it, so they can make a video too. No matter how much it costs.
I don't care about the video. I just want it because of my laziness.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm lazy too. So
yeah,
but I'm more poor than I am lazy, so that's the difference. That's what will make me not have one.
Well, that's because you have kids. I don't. That's literally the only difference.
Yeah,
right?
Not that you know of, at least. Yes. Hey, Franklin. Speaking of, and I'm just making that up. That was a story. But speaking of which, do you have any Tesla stories we can end off this 59-minute video?
You go first.
You don't have it.
25 seconds. Go.
25 seconds? Okay. I can't even think of the story I was going to say. Well, okay. Anyone that saw, long story short, I have bought these white seats for interior seats. They're seat covers. They go over top of my existing black seats, turn them white. Did a video about it. I like them so far. They're very comfortable. They fit good and everything. One problem that I'm faced with right now, and I'm trying to rectify it, is because the added material in the back seat because it wraps around and then it sort of uses like straps underneath to hold everything together tight in the back seat, the actual seat cushions. One problem I've run into is the seat belts. How they stick through those little holes and you have to fish them through when you're putting the seat back, the bench part of the seat back in. You fish them through because of the extra padding now. They don't stick up all the way. And I've got 2 kids under the age of teenagers, let's just say, that you can, when you go to put your belt in, the latch it into the buckle, you have to really push hard to get it in. And the kids can't do it. So needless to say, I'm in the market now for some seatbelt extenders. And long story short, or long story long, I've been through 3 or 4 on Amazon and none of them fit. I've got one more thing I'm going to try, a little more of a professional, I guess, exact seatbelt manufacturer. I'm going to give it a try and I'll see what happens there. But it's I don't want to sound negative about it, but it is a deal breaker. If I can't get the kids to belt in properly themselves and I have to put it in for them every single time, that may be a deal breaker. So I'm working on that. For anyone that gets the seat covers, they're great seat covers. If you don't put people in the back seat, like if it's just a single couple or a single person, then you won't have that problem.
There should be a 3D printed version that you can make. I'll look into it for you.
No. And that's the thing. A handful of the ones I got off Amazon, they were cheap. And when I say cheap, I should say they were
inexpensive. I'm not going to charge you for it.
No, let me finish. They were inexpensive. But when I got them, even though they didn't work, I was holding it in my hand and looking at the quality, and they were cheap. And I don't mean as in inexpensive. I mean as in poor quality. And you got to remember, this is something that's going to restrain your family or friends in there. Who is John and why did he do that? Guys, do not be giving me any money, please. Thank you very much, John. Check, but please, no super chatting money. We're just in here in a happy little coexistence of friends here chatting about Tesla. And if Franklin put him up to this, I'm going to kill him. But anyways, it was a very cheaply made seatbelt extender, and I didn't. Even if it did fit, I would be very hesitant about putting my kids in there because at the end of the day, they have to work like a proper seatbelt, right? And you have to trust it that it's going to restrain your kids in the event of something. So,
yeah,
that's my story. More to come. I'll do a video at the end when I finally decide what I'm going to do.
Oh, I tried buying a super chat for $5 saying don't do this and didn't go through. Huh.
Okay. Do you have a story?
Yeah, I do.
Make it quick so we can end this super chat thing.
Okay, I was walking my dogs and I was coming into towards my house and a lady was walking her dogs and I stopped to talk to her. She's like, "Are you the one with the Tesla?" And
the noisy Tesla.
No, well, she's just interested. So long story short, I started talking about it and
no, buddy, but take as long as you want. But this is interesting. I want to hear how she picked you up because that's such a pickup line. Are you the one with the? If a guy said that to a girl in a bar, nobody goes to bars anymore. Okay, in a park.
But so yeah, I was telling her about different stuff, and I tell you, Smart Summon is like the coolest thing ever. So I told her about Smart Summon, and basically I opened my garage from where I was. I had my Tesla roll out, and she was like absolutely blown away. So she wants to buy one now.
Really?
Yeah.
When did she move in?
To the car? 6 to 9 weeks.
You don't.
I understood your joke. I'm ignoring you.
I know. Okay, that's good. Buddy, you're always selling this car. That's great. Did you give her your code?
No.
Oh, you got to seal the deal, dude. You got to give her your code.
I don't seal the deal. I don't. Well, she knows where I live, okay? But I told her about the referral system, and truthfully, I have 11,000 kilometers of supercharging credit. And I know for some people that's either like a lot or not a lot. But for myself, I don't use it enough. So I'd rather give the referral credits out to people who actually have none or
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. So that's my mindset. I don't actually like I've sold so many Teslas over the years, or referred so many Teslas over the years, but I'm not big on uh, giving out my code because I don't care too much, and uh, give her your referral code. No, listen, uh, 11,000 kilometers, that's a month.
Yeah, for Rob. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I know what you're saying, Franklin, because more than likely they'll expire before you use them up.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
I
agree.
want to use my like I haven't I don't
Okay,
really charge anywhere in the last like 6 months anyway because of the pandemic. And I was planning on using my referral charging credits to do a North American trip, and that got all canceled. But I have enough to do that if the world gets back into a normal state in the next couple of years. So at any point in time, I'll use my code to extend my kilometers 6 months. But I don't know. I'm in the mindset I want to give it on to people that don't have any. That's my
okay, guys, I've muted him because he's just rambling on now. What I want to know, Franklin, and I want to mute you to answer this. And
I unmuted myself.
oh, I can super unmute you if you want, but no. What I want to know is that's all fine and dandy. You didn't give her your code and everything. Did you at least get her phone number or give her your phone number?
Listen, Dax, that's personal information.
No, we're just friends here, buddy. It's just you and me.
Nah, we're good, Dax.
Okay. Tell me off air.
Yeah, off air business. But yeah, no, it's just one of those things. I
I
don't
just
know.
love putting you on the spot there.
There's a lot of people on the concept of referral codes. Just something that I see people with like a ridiculous number of referrals and pass on the wealth, right?
Yes. Speaking of wealth, Rob said he'll give you $5 if you give her your referral code. Or he actually didn't say code; he said referral. So God knows what that means. Anyways, we're going down a rabbit hole with this. I said it as a joke, but I can see where this is going.
The whole chat is just this now, by the way.
I know,
Hey,
guys.
can we address one thing, Dax, real quick? We're over
What?
the 45 minutes anyway.
So it's just everything's out the window. Anyone doesn't know what we're talking about at the beginning? Franklin and I said we're going to try to keep this to 45 minutes. We're in an hour and 7, which is still incredible, but we passed that 45 minute. Go ahead.
Yeah. So to John's point, when he donated the super chat,
Thank you very much, John. You shouldn't have, but thank you very much.
on my Model Y, I have full self-driving. That's one reason I wanted a Tesla. Why would people cheap out and not get full self-driving? I kick myself. It's one of those things I tell people: if you're getting a Tesla, you're better off getting it earlier than later. The amount of money that it's gone up for myself has covered so much of my depreciation over the 2 years, just from the FSD increase. And I know if you sell it back to Tesla, it's not included, but if you sell it privately, then it is, and you will recoup some of that. And then just like the mental stress in traffic, I think it's worth it. And Smart Summon's like the coolest thing ever. So if you're like me and you Smart Summon like all the time and you trust it, best feature ever. Yeah, it's awesome. So well worth the money, in my opinion.
It is worth. I think so too. I know it's a hot debate and contentious topic for whether it's worth the money or not. And some people are waiting for the subscription service. Now that's fine if you want to wait for that, but folks, don't have any anticipation that it's going to be cheap or any wish that it's going to be cheap. I have a feeling when it comes, people are going to be shocked at how expensive it's going to be.
They're going to be disappointed instantly.
I have a feeling, and of course, stocks will tank.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway,
I agree with you with that. I was actually going to say something.
Time's up, Dex.
Yeah, time's up. No, I wasn't going to. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk about your girlfriend anymore. I wasn't going to say that. What I was going to say is thanks for joining us, everyone. We had fun in the chat tonight. Every week, chat's getting better, and we're having more and more fun. Every week's better than the last one. My question to you guys in the chat, or my question to you guys, if you're watching this afterwards, leave a comment down below if you can. What would you guys think about if I got, and I don't mean Franklin. Franklin's great, and he knows a lot about computers and stuff like that, but I'm thinking of getting a Tesla mobile tech guy on the show to answer all your questions. If you have any questions, pepper him with as many questions as you have. I'm going to have Franklin along so he can field all the questions and write them down. Would that be something you guys would be into, like getting an actual Tesla guy that's very experienced with Teslas and knows them inside out, whether it's an SX3 or even Y, and he can answer some questions. I'm thinking of doing that. I just want to put it out there to think if that's something that you guys would like. We can devote the whole entire show to just questions, or we can do the news and then just go into the questions afterwards. Let me know in the comments below if you guys would appreciate something like that, and if you have a question that you would want to ask too. I mean, it would be cool to have it, but we also need questions too. So, I mean, I'd hate to have the guy on and we're just talking about his experiences and we don't have any questions. But I know you guys in the chat, you guys would help us out with questions. So think about it. Let me know in the comments below if you guys would be into something like that. And Franklin, I didn't do this last time. I had you and Paul on, and I apologize. It totally slipped my mind. But where can people find you?
So on Twitter at Tesla Talks, on YouTube at DaxM. I have a Facebook group, Model 3 Owners Club or Canadian Club. I don't use
Trevor's.
I don't use Facebook. I'm sorry.
And that's where you can find Trevor.
What's your Facebook group?
There's a few. There's a Canadian Model 3 Club or group. Let's see, I don't even know myself. And Canadian Model Y group, and then I've got a Cybertruck one too. But it's not Canadian; it's just an all Cybertruck one, and that's fun too.
So, yeah, you can find me there as well.
Yes, you can.
Dax, where can people find you?
Is this what we're doing?
I
just noticed you changed your name. I didn't even notice that. Okay.
I had that name the whole entire show, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah.
And I just noticed that.
If you look under my name, people are listening, not watching. We have little names underneath. So underneath Dax it says Dax M at Tesla or Tesla Talks. Mine says not Dax, Tesla Talks. So.
I just noticed that, dude. I'm gonna have to go back in the video and see that. Anyways, yeah, Franklin, seriously, thanks for that little plug, because Franklin does this as a joke every week because he knows I'm not gonna plug myself. Where can people seriously find you, Frank?
M Frunker on Twitter and Mother Frunker on YouTube.
Awesome. He's got awesome videos. He just did one, like we talked about, the two-factor authentication. If you haven't seen that video that he put out a couple days ago, go check it out. And then I even commented on your last video you put out last night where you made a and it's not the first time. A lot of your videos, you use your family members to help you out and stuff like that, which I think is absolutely cool. And I mentioned that to you, but it really is cool that you can actually make your Tesla videos informative and instructional and all that kind of stuff, but also at the same time involve your family members. That's awesome.
Yeah, I try to involve family, friends as much as I can, right? So
that's what it's all about, buddy. Family first, right?
Yeah.
Guys in the chat room, and ladies and guys and whoever else, dogs, whoever's in the chat room, thanks very much for joining us. Gonna do that. I'm thinking about doing that. The tech guy, the mobile tech guy, probably next week. More to come. Stay tuned on this channel for more information about that, or on my Twitter, like Franklin gave out. I'll give you guys at least 2 or 3 days notice, so we can pile up all the questions ahead of time. So we have like questions to ask, and then we'll also take live questions in the chat too. So we'll try to do that next week or the week after. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye. Say bye, Franklin.
Bye, guys. Thanks for coming out. All the people in the chat make it a lot of fun. So see you guys.
I'm hungry. I'm going to eat. Bye.